Can you make $200 a day driving for food delivery apps like DoorDash and Uber Eats? Well, my twin brother Matt here did that on a recent shift. Let's go over a breakdown of how he did that and transfer those tips to you so you can make the most money possible. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike. This is Matt. This channel is dedicated to your success in this gig economy, the side hustle. So if you are new here, consider subscribing. And for the fastest way to master any food delivery app, go to yourdrivermike.com/delivery. So our first order, Geppetto Cafe, this was actually part of a stacked order. So 2 assignments for 1 driver, and both of them were actually at this restaurant. So a fantastic payout here, $11.50 for 3.2 miles. So a stacked request to start your order, I think that's pretty good. And I think that can be a sign that your shift can be pretty busy. Now, question for you, because I know the pay is pretty good on this one, but this one is taking you really kind of far away from where you typically like to drive. So why did you accept this further away stacked order?
Right, so typically when you look at the map, so this location is not usually where I like to be. However, I knew because it was a stacked order, well, even after the first order, it was probably $15 from what I remember. And I thought, well, it's gonna end me where I wanna be. So even though the restaurant might be outside of your current area, I went ahead and accepted it. And on my way there, I got this stacked order for $11, so it almost doubled my income going to the same restaurant and going back to the area that I wanted to be at.
It was kind of a no-brainer because it was a stacked order, but importantly, like you mentioned, it was from the same restaurant. So no worrying about having to drive to another restaurant.
Exactly.
So this one, it's a powerhouse stacked order. This one for Panera, it's really a crazy payout, $19.84, just a hop across the bridge here, 2.8 miles. So I want to ask you on this crazy payout, and we did have some peak pay here. Number one, always drive on that peak pay or any bonuses if you can, but I mean, can you give us any tips on how to hopefully encourage stacked orders like this?
Yeah, so here's the thing. If you can drive during those busy times, then you're gonna have more choices, right? And you're gonna have more bonuses or peak pay like Mike mentioned. So when you end a ride in a power strip area, so these power strips, as we call them this channel, are those areas of the city, those strip of roads with many restaurants, you're gonna have more choices. And in this instance, I had a stacked order, a really good stacked order from Panera Bread, and the distance was fairly short. Now, it's a little odd for me because I was crossing the river. And if you followed us on this channel, I typically like to stay within the college area. So not much crossing the river, but this one made sense because it was close by. I could just turn right around and go back to those power strip areas, and it just made sense once again.
This one, a great example of really a standard pay, really the threshold that you're looking for here, $8 for 2 miles, this time for Bangkok balcony. Now this one from Five Guys, again, another stacked order, 2 assignments for 1 driver. Again, we're hitting crazy payout here, $19.40, 3.6 miles. I wanna hear your thoughts on this one.
So again, when you're trying to maximize your time and you're trying to make hundreds of dollars in one day and one shift, this is how you do it. You drive as near to those rush times as you can, those lunch rushes and dinner rushes. Again, if you can, but you can notice even on this stacked order, it's 4 o'clock. It's not, people might still be at work. They still might not even be having dinner yet. However, it can pick up that soon. So go online and see what it's like in your marketplace with DoorDash and see if there's any incentives, any peak pays. And when you're driving, even around that rush time, you have more choices, you have more orders, and you're gonna have a higher frequency of these stacked orders just because of the volume of orders that are coming in.
And I kind of just thought about this thing as well, is maybe wait at those certain restaurants, right? We talked about a power strip, general areas where it's gonna be busy, but more so than that, waiting at maybe kind of transitionary restaurants. Five Guys here, yes, it's kind of more of a lunch spot, but again, it's 4 p.m. So maybe you can pull in crowds from both that lunch and the dinner rush. So within that power spot, that may be a strong place to wait. Now we're seeing some really fantastic pay here on that peak pay, and we're actually gonna give you a hack when it comes to peak pay specifically, but this one, $12.50 for Edge Mediterranean. So you're having really a record shift here. Really all of our ideal shifts driving for DoorDash. But I talked about that peak pay, the bonus pay. What hacks can you give us as far as maximizing that bonus pay?
So if you're driving, and that's a really good point, and here's a really good tip. If you have peak pay and you're doing really well, that could really carry your earnings even after those rush times. So after the traditional dinner rush, you might be well into 8 p.m., 9 p.m., and for whatever reason, there's a lot of orders. Plus you're getting that peak pay, stay online. You can actually extend your shift. So if you're scheduled until 7, it's gonna go ahead and say your dash is over, essentially. You can go back in, log in, and extend it for an hour or 2 hours or however long you're available and take advantage of it, because it doesn't necessarily limit around the dinner time. It can extend well past that and you want to take advantage of it.
Well, I would double down on that. You know, if they're giving you, and DoorDash knows this as well, if they're giving you peak pay until 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and DoorDash also sees that it's busy, just in their algorithm, they will basically do the same as we would do. We would keep driving. They're going to keep offering bonuses. So look for that when you're driving. You'll see, hey, thanks for dashing. And then they may add on. If you keep dashing, we'll give you another $1. We'll give you another $2 if you stay on until like 8, 9 p.m. Another great example from a fast casual restaurant. Make note of these if they're on the game, or sometimes you will have to wait at places like this. So just make note of that. But $10, 2 miles, this one for Chipotle. And as mentioned at the beginning of the video, a great sign that your shift may be busy, stacked orders, yet another one here. $9 for just 789 additional yards. So they keep on coming. This one at $19, Subway and Pizza Parma. But I want to ask you about positioning, why it's so important to be in the right spot.
So there's a few times where you want to stay where you are. So if you're just beginning your shift and you're already in a fairly busy area, it makes no sense to drive 10 minutes down the road to get a slightly higher incentive or bonus. However, if you're doing really, really well, you want to try and stay or end your deliveries in those power areas. So if I was outside of this particular area, I might not have received those requests because it goes really to the closest driver. So the strategy, when it's popular, is accept an order, but you want to look at the revenue, right? You want to look at the miles, but you also want to look at where it ends you after that delivery to the customer. And again, it seems to be something we keep saying over and over on this shift, but again, that's why I got all of those stacked orders, because I was nearest to the restaurant and I was in those really busy areas.
Well, agreed. You know, whenever you mention positioning, it's not just the power strips. Yes, we mentioned go deeper and look at certain restaurants as well. But like you mentioned, you may miss out on high paying deliveries if you're not in the right place. Because frankly, we don't know the algorithms. We don't know absolutely everything that DoorDash is considering whenever they're sending out these orders. But I mean, traditionally, being the closest one to the restaurant, again, traditionally with a lot of these apps, it's a big part of it. So you might just want to play it safe and park by and park in those power strips. So it's kind of astounding at this point. Another stacked order for Panera, $19. Seems to be the magic number today. $19.64 for a single mile. I want to make a point here because yes, we talked about positioning, we talked about power strips. Capitalizing on peak pay, that's absolutely very paramount. Certainly do that as a driver. But I think something that's been ignored here is the time of day, the time of week even. So this shift was on a Friday. Talk to me more about that time of the week, the date. Does that even matter?
So traditionally, the best times to drive, if you can get on the road, are the lunch and dinner rush, right? But what if you are not sure what day is best to drive? Well, the good answer is it really doesn't matter. If you get out there on a Monday, maybe for whatever reason, there are a ton of orders coming in. And remember, we definitely encourage you on this channel to learn multiple apps as well. So maybe DoorDash is a little slow and Uber Eats is really, really hot that one night. Or maybe your marketplace has fewer drivers on DoorDash and that's gonna give you more orders. It really depends from day to day. So get out there, get a good feel for it. And if you can, even for a few hours, maybe after work or whenever you're free, you can drive those more rush times, if you will, and you'll see these huge stacked orders and you can make near $100 just in a matter of hours.
Now this one actually multi-apping on Uber Eats. That's driving for different apps at the same time. and picking the best order for you. So we're gonna call this a filler order in some senses, $7.72. So we're not seeing really the crazy payout here. Let's get into that. So we saw some massive payouts throughout the shift here, $10+ $15, $19+ orders. So with this one on a different app for $7.72, why would we accept this order that's significantly smaller?
Yeah, so this is the big advantage that you're gonna have over other drivers when you're doing what we call multi-apping. And that's, like Mike said, having both apps open at the same time and selecting the best order for you. And that's based on distance and based on revenue. So don't underestimate those $7, $8, $9 orders. They're all not, unfortunately, going to be $19. You will get those. But these $7 orders, you can see it took me maybe a mile to deliver this order for $7. So in a matter of minutes, take these orders that are really close or right around the corner, and you're gonna see those added together over an hour, you're gonna be averaging a really, really good rate.
And I would say you can basically chain together these deliveries. So if it is down the road, ideally, $7, $8 for, let's say 0.8 miles, ideally, you can make that pickup and drop off really quickly. And as you're making that drop off, basically, as you're going down that street to make the delivery, go online with the other app and try to, again, daisy chain those deliveries together. So it was a day of hustling. It was a day of multi-apping, driving on different apps, following best practices and taking advantage of the best bonuses possible. So now it's time to actually look at the numbers to see how you made that over $200 in a single day. So this shift on a Friday was from 10:50 a.m. until 7 p.m. During this shift, we generated $183.36 on DoorDash alone, with an additional $40.70 on Uber Eats for a grand total well over $200, $223.43. That equals a very strong gross revenue per hour, $28.54. When I say hustling, I mean hustling. We were busy. We completed 23 deliveries and nicely received 22 tips. Our average tip here was $3.62. Keeping those business miles short that we talked about, really optimizing our driving earned us $3.19 payout per mile and a total business miles driven of 70 business miles. And that gets us a tax deduction of $39.20. So $200 a day, let's be real, is not achievable on every single shift, even if you drive 8 or 9 hours a day. But if you follow the best practices in this video, I firmly believe, and Matt as well, that you can best set yourself up to earn as much money as possible. So if you got value in this video, definitely drop a like. And you can also click or tap the screen here for our most recent video, as well as a video recommended for you. And I'll see you in the next one.